Good morning from Michigan. Oops, I'm sorry, just a second here. Um, okay, I think I dropped my camera. Okay, let's get started. So today we will be mainly focusing on, I'm doing this series for U.S. admissions and scholarships. And today we are specifically going to be focusing on how to select a university, right? So this is one of the very, very important criteria where people are sometimes not sure or sometimes students are confused how to select a university, right? There are over 3,500 or more universities and colleges in the US. So so it is very important criteria. It is very important to know how we can select a university. So let's go a little bit in more detail and try to see how we can do that. I've also created a video on that earlier, but I thought maybe I can go in a little more detail in this video and specifically tell you how we can select a university. Again, people select universities based on ranking, right? Faculty reputation. Um, Again, there are different ranking criteria such as QS ranking or Times ranking, US News ranking. Then there is people select universities because of the faculty reputation, how many Nobel laureates they have, or how famous the professors are. Again, people also select universities based on their research facilities. If they have really great and top-notch research facilities, people do select on that. And also students select mainly universities based on their scholarships and fellowships, right? If there are a lot of fellowships and scholarships, people do tend to select those universities. Finally, people also select universities based on the location. So some people like to go to big cities, other likes to go to small college towns. It really depends. Some people like to go to government schools or state universities. Other would like to go to more like a private institutions, right? So it all depends. So again, I will be telling you mainly how you can make this university selection process easier and smoother, so that it'll be easy for you when you are really going to be applying. So the first thing I want you to do is, so in US the ranking of the universities are mainly done by US News ranking. So if you go to the university, if you go to the Google and type in there, if you want, I can be a little slow, and then you can um, try to go with me so that you know what I'm talking about. So go to the Google search and type in US News ranking. Again, go to Google and type in US News ranking. And based on the search, again, some people might want to do while they're watching this video. So I'm happy with that. So if you wanna try that, that would be great as well. So um, again, Adnan, we will be taking questions in few minutes. So first, I want to give you a general overview. Let's do one thing at a time and be very precise and accurate about that. So if you go to US News ranking, if you just type in the Google search US News ranking, you're going to see the first link you're going to see is the US News best colleges. Click on that. Once you click on that, you're going to see the US News ranking website, and right somewhere in the middle, you see national universities. And just at the bottom, you're going to see um, full list. Click here to see the full list. Click on that. Once you click on that list, you're going to see the list of all the universities, Harvard, MIT, and Caltech, and Berkeley, and Stanford, Princeton, all those lists is there. So starting from number one, it goes all the way down. So again, this is the general overall university ranking. Similarly, You can also rank the university. Again, Adnan, just in a few minutes, we'll be taking questions. So first, we are discussing on how to select a university. Um, so please hold on to your questions. So what we're going to do is now, let's say if your major is physics. So go to Google search and type in physics US news ranking. Click on the first link which you get, and here it will take you to the US news ranking website. It will display the list of the universities, or it's going to rank the universities according to the physics major. You can type in chemistry, psychology, mechanical or civil engineering, or you can type in economics, business, supply chain management, whatever your major is, whatever the field you want to study in the US for your bachelor's, master's, or PhD degree, you can use the exact same technique. And then you would be able to see the list of the universities based on that department, or based on the major, or based on the area which you want to study. And sometimes it can help you to refocus. So, for example, if chemistry is your area, but you would like to know organic chemistry or inorganic chemistry or analytical chemistry or physical chemistry, right? So, once you go to the US News Ranking website, um, again, if you type in chemistry US News Ranking in Google and you go to that web page, you're going to see on the top, analytical, physics, organic, inorganic. You're going to see tons of those. So you can click on any one to see the ranking of that school, to see the ranking of universities in general. Also, it is also very important, whatever your major is, right? If you are in economics or sociology or history or international relations or comparative religion or material science and engineering, or computer science. If you go in the Google, type in computer science US news ranking. Again, click on the first link, and it'll take you to the US News ranking page, and it will show you the computer science ranking of the universities. Now that you see like literally 100, 200, or even more universities, how to select those ones. Now I want you to take here a moment and kind of like, think about it and reflect on your own thing, right? How is your undergraduate? So if you're selecting a school for your undergraduate degree, then look at your high school grades. Look at your high school grade point average. Look at your high school marks or points. If you are really a top student, then you can select couple top universities, couple like middle tier universities, and then you can select also maybe couple like a low tier universities. Similarly, if you're applying for a master's or PhD, then the main selection criteria is your undergraduate or your bachelor's GPA. If you have a very high GPA, then I do recommend you to select a couple of highly ranked universities, maybe in top 20 or 30, right? And then select a couple middle tier universities, and also select a couple lower tier universities. However, if you are like kind of not the top student, but you are good, you are well above average, then if you want, you can select one or so top tier universities, select maybe two or three or four middle tier universities, and then you can also select a couple lower tier universities. However, if you are just an average student, right, then please do not select the top universities, maybe top 30 or 40. Try not to select those. Try to select three or four middle tier universities, and then also select three or four low tier universities or low rank universities. In general, I want you to select somewhere between 5 to 8 universities. It's very important that you select at least five, or you can go up to 10, but I would say somewhere in there, 7, 8, or 9 universities I want you to select. Now, once you have selected those universities, go to their web pages. Again, it's not the process which you can do it in one day. Please take your time, slow down, go to a university web page, look at the college or the department web page or a specific program web page, look at their admission requirements, right? And once you look into admission requirements and see what are the application materials do you need, right? So um, do they need a English proficiency test? Probably they would need that, right? So it can be TOEFL or IELTS. Um, or do check if they do accept Duolingo as an English, or PTE, or any other English proficiency exam. Um, and then also see if they require GRE or GMAT or LSAT, right? Look into those ones as well. See what do they require. Also require in terms of, look at the requirements in terms of GPA. How much, what was the GPA they require to apply for admission or to apply for a scholarship or a fellowship, right? See if they require a statement of purpose or a CV or a cover letter, how many letters of recommendation they need. And then I want you to go to the second university and a third university and the fourth university, whatever, 5 or 10 universities you have selected. Try to go at each of the university department or the program webpage and look at all of their admission requirements. Now, while you're doing that, I want you to create a spreadsheet. I want you to create an Excel sheet, right? In which you're going to be making, let's say, 10 or 15 columns. The first column could be the name of the university. So type in whatever the names. Oh, I'm going to be applying in Florida International University, Michigan State University, Ohio State University, Harvard University, University of California, Santa Barbara. Whatever the name of the universities are, just type it in there. Based on the information which you got from their website or from the department or the program website, look at their application deadline. Just type it in there. If they have a specific deadline, put the specific deadline. If they have a rolling deadline, which means that they don't have any, they have a rolling admissions, which means that they get the applications, they review them, let's say maybe once a week or once in 2 weeks, and then they send out the admission or decision letters. So write it like, you want to write, oh, ASAP. Oh, I'm going to be applying it as soon as possible. Whatever their deadlines are, you can put there. Then you can look at their English proficiency requirements, and then you can write, okay, that's the minimum requirement for the TOEFL. If you are taking IELTS exam, then put in IELTS score there. Or if they are accepting Duolingo, then type in the minimum requirement they have for Duolingo. If whatever the maximum information you can find from those websites, try to enter that information into that Excel sheet. Okay. Also see if they require a GRE and what is the minimum quantitative, verbal, or analytical scores. Type it in there, right, in that Excel sheet. Also see how many letters of recommendation they need. Most of the schools require 3 recommendation letters. It could be 2 or it could be 4. Whatever the number of letters they require, just type it in there. Then comes to application fee, right? How much is their application fee? Is it free? Is it $20 or $30? Is it $50? Or if it's $100? And how important is that? But whatever is that, just type it in there. Hopefully in this session, in this series of videos, which I'm going to be talking about, U.S. admissions and scholarships, and maybe in the next session we can talk about how you can request for application fee waiver. Again, we're going to be talking about those things as the time goes on. So I'm trying to do one step at a time, right? In our last session, we talked about how to approach a professor. So maybe I should say first is to select a university, and then you should see how to approach a professor, how to write an email to a professor, or how to contact a professor. Anyways, so once you have that nice Excel sheet, you can look at a particular row and look at the name of the university, its deadline, its admission requirements, how many of letter of recommendations they need, and so on and so forth. So now once you have populated that list, try to put in, you may not be able to put all that information from all those 8 or 10 websites or from 8 or 10 universities into that Excel sheet in one day or in 1 week. You might need a little bit of a time. But right now is a great time to to work on these application forms and requirements, because many US universities are accepting applications for fall 2025 in the month of October, November, and December. So it's a great time to start working on these ones. Um, Also, if you are applying for an undergraduate degree, right, then you would need to see what is their SAT requirement or ACT requirement. And wherever you are, pretty much anywhere in the world, if you are in Islamabad, or if you are in Dhaka or Kuala Lumpur or Dubai or Istanbul, wherever you are, you can find ACT and SAT centers there, and you can go and take that test basically. Um, so, anyways, the overall, other than that, whether you are doing undergrad or a grad degree, pretty much the criteria is the same. So, first is to select few universities on the U.S. News Ranking website, and so we mainly discussed on the ranking, right? And then try to look at their application requirements, try to see if you can fulfill. Let's say if you have selected 10 universities, and you can see that, oh, for one of the school, English proficiency requirement is, oh, my score is 6.5 in IELTS, but this particular university requires 7 score. So you know what, I'm not going to be applying at that school. Or you know whatever the criteria is, if you think that you cannot fulfill, then you can remove that university from your list. And once you have kind of narrowed down to the universities, then I would go and write an email if you are in another country, or try to set up a meeting, try to set up a virtual meeting or a meeting in person if you are in the US, with a graduate program director or with a professor, as we have talked in our last video how to approach a professor. So you're going to be talking with them, you're going to be trying to set up a virtual meeting with them. In other words, you are the one who is requesting for an interview, so that you can uh, you know uh, try to stay more proactive in terms of admissions and scholarships. Okay. So again, all these things are fairly important. um, I think this is pretty much it. So once you have selected those 8 or 10 schools, then you say, you know what, these 2 schools, that admission requirements in terms of like GPA or TOEFL or any of the requirements are too high for me. I will not be able to apply. Or you are writing to different professors or a graduate program director at the same time, and then they tell you that your background is not suitable, let's say, and then you are like, you know what, I'm not going to be applying to these 2 or 3 schools. So anyways, out of those, let's say 10 schools you selected initially, you come up with 6 or 7 or 8 universities. So these are the 6, 7, or 8 universities I am going to be applying. um, and then you selected that these are the 7 or 8 universities I will be applying to. Now, after that point, I want you to just only focus on those universities. So during this process, I think one of the time-taking process is to go on the university webpage and not only look at their admission requirements, but also look at the faculty research profiles, right, to see what kind of the research they do, or go to the program webpage or the department webpage to look and see what kind of scholarships or fellowships they have. If you're really a strong applicant, then these universities want you to come to their school. So they would not give you a standard scholarship. So when I talk about a standard scholarship, which means a graduate assistantship in terms of a graduate teaching assistantship or a graduate research assistantship. So a lot of times, these master's or PhD positions are not advertised in the US, because every semester, like, hundreds of applicants or sometimes even thousands of applicants apply to join the university, for bachelor's, master's, and PhD. So sometimes there's not enough time to advertise. So we have, let's say, 5 positions, but we have 20 applications or 50 applications or 100 applications. Then there's not really a point to go ahead and advertise, right? So in other words, what I'm saying is, I see many people were commenting on my Facebook and on YouTube or TikTok or wherever. So they were talking about, um, yeah. So they were talking about how we can, um, you know, how would I know that there is an open position? How would I know that there is an open position for a particular, let's say, master's in psychology? Again, when you go to the university webpage and you see that they have a psychology major and they're offering masters in psychology, then just go ahead, approach a professor and apply to the program. You don't really have to apply for a particular scholarship or a fellowship. Similarly, if your major is history or linguistics or material science or construction management, whatever your major is, if you are not if you can't find any scholarship, if you can't find any fellowship, don't wait. Just approach a professor and simultaneously go to the university webpage, look at all the admission requirements, and then go ahead and apply. So not a big deal, right? So you don't. In other words, I'm saying you don't have to wait for a scholarship or a fellowship or an advertisement where a professor is or a university is asking, oh, we are looking for applications and so on and so forth. You don't have to wait. Just go ahead and apply. So again, with that being said, let me take a few more questions. So it says, sir, most of the universities require a GPA of 3 or above for MS. It means that they won't even consider the applications for prospective students with GPA less than 3. Hamad Aziz Mirza is asking, if someone has a GPA of less than 3 and the university's requirement is 3, then you have to, then you have to be super careful. As I said in my previous video, how to win a scholarship on a low GPA, go ahead and watch that one. I give you several tips on that. You might want to take a GRE or a GMAT to increase your chances because your GPA is lower than, let's say, if someone has GPA is less than 3 and the minimum requirement for admission is 3 and above. So now you want to apply. You want to, if you have already graduated 1, 2, or several years ago and you have been working for a company, right? If you have been doing any research, or if you have any publications or patent or a work experience or a high GRE score, you need to try to supplement, you need to try to add value to your application package so that you can say, hey, you know what, although I don't have a GPA of 3, but this is what I have, and I will be very happy to appear in an interview. So go ahead and appear in an interview. Try to give a research presentation. Try to grab the attention of a professor or a graduate program director so that you can tell them that, I am very interested in this program. You need to show your passion, your commitment, your excitement. So because this is one of the most important thing, the passion, commitment, and excitement professors are looking for. Okay. Ghazala is asking, after BS computer science, what should I do? Masters or directly PhD? Again, you can easily go for masters or you can go for PhD. It's your call. Masters is usually 1 to 2 years. PhD is usually somewhere between 3 to 5 years, or I would say 4 to 5 years, right? So there's a slightly more chances for you to get a scholarship for PhD than in masters, but so it's your call. So if you want to make a commitment for 2 years or 4 to 5 years, it's your personal choice. Okay, Hasnan is asking, I have done bachelor's in mechanical engineering. Should I look for a master's or PhD or direct? Again, Hasnan, the exact same question which the last applicant was asking. If you want, you can go for a master's or you can go for PhD. But again, for PhD, you have a more chances of a scholarship. Okay, someone is asking whether we should mail to a professor directly or apply on the portal. I'm currently 7th semester of electrical engineering. Okay, you can email to a professor or you can directly apply. Your call, right? If you want to develop that personal link with a professor, and if you know that you want to join his or her to that particular professor's lab, then it might be a great idea to get in touch with them, to tell them about yourself. Go try to set up a virtual meeting, talk to them, tell them about your research ideas, tell them that you are interested in their research, right? Talk to their previous students, talk to their current students, and try to build that relationship so that when they see your application, they know you, who you are, and they know that you're very passionate to join that university. Okay. And I think if you're in the seventh semester, that's a great time to apply. I remember when I was undergrad, I took GRE after my sixth semester, and I kind of applied right away. And so before I even finished my undergrad degree, I already had a scholarship. Okay. Ismat is asking, please ask. So please write your question again, Professor Heather. I'm pursuing a master's degree in rehab and expected to graduate in 2025. Can I apply in between? Yes, you can apply if you are, especially if you get your degree before August of 2025, then you can apply now. Smith, I think you can please repeat your question. So, is it possible that my current semester is eight, my degree is going to complete in January 2025, can apply, and I prepare for my. Yes, again, you are going to be applying now in the month of October and November mainly, or sometimes in December to apply in August 2025. So, even if you don't have your degrees, that's perfectly okay. If you don't have your IELTS or any other exams, you can take them right now. But the earlier you take, the better off you are. Okay, the nature lover. How can I find a business schools offering a PhD without a GRE? Further guide how to and cash my industry experience in the place of publication. Again, we briefly talked about it. I don't know if you missed it or not. Go to business, go to Google and type in business US news ranking. It's going to display all the business schools for you. Then you can select based, on if you want to select top ranked, middle tier or lower tier universities, and once you rank that, you can do that. And of course, you know you need to know how to present yourself. You need to know how you can make your case stronger if you don't have publication but you have a work experience. I think in business schools it is important that if you have a work experience, because imagine you're going to say that in the classroom you're going to be coming with your real world experience. So that's going to change the class dynamics, right? The questions which you're going to ask are going to be more real, are going to be more practical, are going to be more industry related based on your experience. And also the real life examples or the real industry examples which you're going to give in the class are also going to be different. So I think in general business schools, they want people who are coming directly from undergrad degree into master's or PhD, or some people who are coming from the industry. So I think it's a great experience. Okay, I might have missed some questions. Your sessions are highly informative. Thank you. We have covered statement of purpose, but we can talk in more detail later on. Okay, can a professor acceptance letter increases chances? Yes, it does. I mean, they would not give you a letter, but they would just give you some sort of email, and then yes, it does help. What about the degree evaluation? And some universities are asking for. Yes, there are different websites or there are different companies such as WES. They evaluate international degrees. You can do overall degree evaluation or you can do course by course evaluation. Both are extremely good. If your question has not been answered, by the way, you can please type in your question again so that I can go back to it. So let me see here. I'll be just here for a few more minutes. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and type it in, and then we can work on it. I completed my master's degree in chemistry from Pakistan and currently enrolled in a PhD program in China. Yes. So if you want to continue your PhD in China, then you can come here for a postdoc, or you can start your PhD from fresh again here. Okay, Smith is asking how I'm considering leaving this program to pursue my PhD in the United States. I don't have publication. Would still again if you carefully craft your application, right? Try to see if you have a work experience. Try to see if you have a research experience. Try to see if you have a great TOEFL, IELTS, or GRE scores. Again, look at some of other my videos. I've given an in detail analysis what you can do to enhance your chances, right? Or appear in an interview and show your excitement and passion through emails, or go for a research presentation. Go read some of the research articles by a professor and then try to come up with ideas. try to connect with them, write them with questions, and so on and so forth. Okay, Professor, could you please guide on content of reference letters or recommendation letters? Again, we right now in this one we are mainly focusing on how to select a university. So I want you to write your questions on that topic, so that we can focus. But you know, very quickly regarding the reference letters or recommendation letters, you'll be talking. Your professor or your recommender will be talking about your how do they know you, what they have observed in you, how is your research or work experience, motivation, are you a team player, any attributes, any qualities, any traits which you have which can be a great source as a graduate student would be good. Okay, GRE is required in USA universities. I'm agriculture students. Most of the yes, GRE was required, especially after COVID. Many schools have waived GRE. I'm gonna be sharing my video hopefully very soon, which I created. I specifically looked at some of the programs, or I specifically mentioned some programs and universities where they do not require a GRE. So you can watch out for that. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Most of the professor told me that apply directly. Okay, great, Matiullah. I think that's a very good sign. So go ahead and apply. Again, it's worth applying. It's worth applying. It's worth trying your chances. Asif is asking, I've done my MS in nanotechnology 4 years ago. Can I apply for PhD? I don't have work experience and I have a study gap. I'm interested in further studies. Again, if you're interested, if you're motivated, you know that's okay. Gap is not a problem. A lot of times people go do something different and then come back to studies. They have a lot of things going on in their life, many issues, many problems, anything, right, can happen, and then now you want to come back. So I think you're welcome to apply again. What is the key selection criteria and the professors in the US? Again, I think if you are interested in a particular program or a particular research area, and if you see that this professor, he or she is also doing research in that area, and and so that would be a great, match, then do apply. Go talk to them, set up a virtual meeting, and see how fit you both are talking. Because again, it's a two-way street. You need to like the professor, you need to like that lab, you need to talk with that current members of the lab to see how their work environment is, especially if you have more than one choice, right? If you have already acceptance or scholarship from two or more schools, then you really need to be, you need to pick and choose to see which one is the best fit for you. Okay. Sir, I apply in Central Michigan University, but tell me, sir, how I avail scholarship for undergrad study and apply. If you have a very high GPA, or if you have a very high A levels grade, and if you're applying for undergrad, I think that can enhance your chances for getting scholarship. Yes, you can directly apply after for PhD. Okay, Amr. Okay, Lazala is asking, if my uncle is in America, I have to meet professors in admission and scholarships. I'm not sure if I understood your question correctly. Please guide on degree evaluation process, and there are chances it for free. Again, you have to contact WES or other website for the university selection, for the degree evaluations. But again, this session is on university selection. If you have a particular question about the department, about the professor, about the university, this is the right session. And then we'll talk about other sessions in detail. So I'll just, okay, Mohammed Abbas Amjad is asking, is it true some universities give direct admission in PhD without a professor's acceptance? Yes, they can do that. If you have, especially if you have a great profile, if you have a great GPA, a great application packet, then yes, you can get admission. So, what weighs more, personal attribute or a past academic performance for acquiring admission? Again, both of these things are very important, um, but I think the past accomplishments, your GPA, and all those things are very important. But you know what? They both are related. If you have very high GPA, it also tells me that you're very hardworking, right? You are very systematic, you're very organized, you schedule things, and so on and so forth. And that's your personal attributes. So, night apply. I'm sorry, I missed the question. My bachelor's degree is FSC, not ADA levels. I have 90%. And SAT, yeah, SAT 1200 is not bad. It's a good score, but remember, it's 1600. So in order to really get a very high scholarship, you need to get a very high SAT. SAT 1200, I think you may be able to get some sort of a scholarship. Anyways, with that being said, I think I'm going to keep it brief and short. Hopefully you like the session. So once again, this video is one of the series of many videos in which we're going to be overall US admissions and scholarships. So we talked about how to approach a professor. Today we talked about how to select a university. And then we're going to be talking more about recommendation letters, statement of purpose, how to request for application fee waiver, how to appear in an interview, what to ask, what not to ask, how to get ready, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye.